KHOU 11 News at 5:30 starts now.
Hi, everyone. It's great to have you with us for this digital webcast. I'm Marcelino Benito.
And I'm Cheryl Mercedes. Right now, all eyes are on the Gulf of Mexico as Hurricane Milton continues to strengthen. It's expected to make landfall on Florida's west coast sometime this week.
Milton comes nearly a week after Hurricane Helene slammed through the northwestern part of the state. Now communities are bracing for the worst. Today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency for 51 of the state's 67 counties. You can see residents are not wasting any time and are already preparing for this week's storm by stocking up on sandbags and supplies. In a news conference this morning, the Florida Division of Emergency Management says they are preparing for the largest evacuation since 2017 and are urging residents to take matters seriously.
I urge Floridians to finalize your storm preparations now, enact your plan. I highly encourage you to evacuate. We are preparing, and I have the State Emergency Response Team preparing for the largest evacuation that we have seen, most likely since 2017 Hurricane Irma.
Let's bring in meteorologist Pat Cavill. We know he's been keeping a close watch of this.
So, Pat, what's the latest you're tracking in the Gulf with Milton?
Going to be a really serious storm for our friends and family in Florida, unfortunately. As of the 4 p.m. update, Category 1 hurricane, wind sustained at 85 miles per hour. It has started that eastward movement now at about 7 miles per hour. It's going to pick up steam here as we get towards the middle part of the week. But until then, it's kind of a slow jog to the east. But the intensification is going to be anything but slow. We're expecting this to be a Category 2 overnight. A Category 3 then Monday night, a Category 4 by Monday night. And then look at that, wind sustained at 145 miles per hour by Tuesday afternoon. So between now and Tuesday afternoon, we're going to go from a Category 1 to a powerful Category 4 hurricane. So rapid intensification in that window. And then from there, it starts to take that turn towards the northeast, eyeing the west coast of Florida. The forecast cone's still wide, but this is the typical width that you see of the forecast cone this many days out. But still, the center of the track really has not changed a lot. It's wobbled a bit between the Tampa area and the Sarasota area, but this means huge impact to the coast from storm surge going all the way down towards the Fort Myers area and the Naples area. These are spots that were very hard hit by Ian back in 2022. So a really significant storm on the way here for the Florida coast. And so those evacuations are really going to be needed here as we get into the next 24 hours probably. Landfall expected sometime Wednesday afternoon and evening. We've got two features that are steering this storm. One is a trough of low pressure to the north in the form of our cold front that comes in tomorrow night. And the other is high pressure down across the Caribbean. These will kind of funnel the storm towards Florida as we get towards Wednesday. Until then, though, it stays pretty far south before it takes that northeast turn towards the Tampa area. And what happens is it'll actually start to get pulled in by that cold front, by that trough. It gets sucked to the north. And so, again, landfall expected somewhere here west coast of Florida by Wednesday evening. So that's the latest on the storm. A very symmetrical, healthy-looking storm, unfortunately, in the Bay of Campeche. Here at home, because that storm has consolidated more, it took all of the cloud cover that we saw yesterday and the coastal showers, and it took it down south. So we had a lot of sunshine today, and that sunshine got us hot. 94 the high. That ties the record set back in 1928. This morning we woke up 10 degrees above where we should be this time of year, but we do get back to the 60s later on this week. So again, 94, the new record for today. That ties the record set back in 1928. We will be hot again as we get to tomorrow, and then some cooler weather comes in later on this week. Still 93 at Bush and Tomball, 89 Conroe, 90 for Hobby, 87 Galveston. Dew points not as bad as yesterday, down into the low 60s now. So you can see we're not seeing as much of that deep green on the screen as we had yesterday. So the lower humidity is making it feel a little bit better. Hot again for Monday. We're still watching the latest on Milton over the next few days, but we transition to some cooler weather here by the middle of the week behind this cold front. So it's clear and mild, not too muggy for the overnight. That front really takes its time coming through. So tomorrow it's still hot again. The front won't go through until the overnight. Once that kicks through though, dry, sunny, still warm, but feels a lot better, and it pushes Milton to the east out towards Florida. Look at the dew points here. I mean, they just crash once we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they stay in that comfortable range here all the way through next week. So some really nice weather on the way behind this front. It's our first real powerful fall front with staying power that we're going to see so far this year. And even though the afternoon high temperatures stay warm, look at the morning lows. Every day this week, you're going to wake up low 60s, mid 60s, all the way into the weekend. So one more day of waking up to temperatures around 70 degrees Monday, and then we're in a great stretch. Clear skies, though, for the overnight. Tomorrow we'll do 94 again with lots of sunshine. There's your 7-day forecast. 68 to wake up Tuesday, and then 88 for your high temperature for the afternoon. Same deal for Wednesday. We're back to 90 Thursday and Friday, but upper 80s to low 90s all week long with overnight temperatures in the low to mid 60s. A great, perfect October stretch coming up for us this week, guys.
We got to enjoy it, Pat. The second time that a cold front has helped steer those storms away from us. So
very lucky, and that's the good thing about these October setups is that with cold fronts, our hurricane season, knock on wood, typically starts to wind down as a result.
Feel for our friends in Florida. Let's enjoy it here. Pat, thank you.
Now to a very important reminder. Tomorrow is the last day you can register to vote in the November election. And we want to make sure that you have the resources right at your fingertips ahead of the election day. You can text the word VOTE to 713-526-1111 and we'll send you our voter guide with links to check your registration status or find an application. And for those who live in Harris County, the tax office in downtown Houston is extending its hours to help people register to vote. It will be open from 5 to 9 p.m. Also, early voting begins Monday, October 21st and runs through November 1st. Then Election Day, of course, is Tuesday, November 5th.
Now taking a look at a couple court cases happening tomorrow. The sentencing phase of Gerald Goins' trial will continue at 9 a.m. That's according to the district court. It comes after Goins appeared to suffer a medical emergency Thursday. He appeared to slump over before his team and bailiffs eventually walked him out of the courtroom. EMTs were called and he was eventually put into an ambulance. Goins faces anywhere from 5 years to life in prison on each of 2 felony murder convictions related to the 2019 Harding Street raid, which was based on a bogus search warrant Goins obtained. And the man charged with killing a woman and then dumping her body in a field is also due back in court tomorrow. According to court documents, Christopher Bernard met a woman identified as 29-year-old Courtney Hall at a motel on Monday. That's where police say he strangled her. Court documents also show on Tuesday Bernard moved Hall's body to a field along Subsea Lane in northeast Harris County, where she was discovered by maintenance workers. His bond has been set at a total of $300,000. Now taking a look at some of the other top stories we're following this evening.
A North Texas megachurch is facing new controversy. A class action lawsuit was filed on Friday accusing the ministry of fraud. It claims a former pastor, senior pastor Robert Morris, falsely promised the congregation that 15% of its voluntary contributions would go toward global mission work. The plaintiffs argue they never saw Gateway use the full amount on global ministries. The lawsuit also includes a former senior pastor and 2 former associate senior pastors. An investigation is underway.
Now to a major security breach affecting some of the country's major telecommunications companies. Sources tell CNN a suspected group of Chinese government-linked hackers infiltrated several broadband and internet providers such as AT&T, Verizon, and Lumen. Investigators suspect the hackers were likely looking for national security or other sensitive information. Right now, an investigation is underway.
And pro golf champion Tiger Woods is getting ready to break ground on a new course and community right outside of Fort Worth in Aledo, Texas. Just this week, he announced plans for Blue Jack Ranch, which is a 600-home gated community with an 18-hole golf course and luxury amenities. This comes nearly a decade after Woods and Blue Jack Management created their first golf course, club, and community north of Houston in Montgomery. Right now, things are still in the planning phase.
All right now, a 600-ton piece of history is right here in Houston. Hundreds got a chance to see the big boy locomotive up close.
Yeah, the 80-plus-year-old engineering marvel is wrapping up its trip through the heartland, stopping at Houston's Amtrak station on Washington. Katira Winfrey has the story from the tracks.
When Big Boy rolls into town, you can feel it. smell it, and hear it.
It's American history. I mean, 1941, this was created. It's still running today. It's beautiful. When you hear that whistle blow, it's like nothing else.
Gino Villalobos and his son Asher Aguilar do quite a bit of train restoration too, but on a much smaller scale. It's a fascination that stuck with Asher for quite a while.
Mind-blowing. I grew up with Thomas and the Polar Express, and just seeing this gorgeous train in front of me, behind me, it's just really beautiful.
Ed Dickens is manager of Heritage Operations and sees this train through its travels, but was also part of the 12-member team to get this 1941 train in working order, fully taking it apart, fabricating new parts to get the engine going.
I think that's really what captures people's imagination. They see something as big as this is, that it's fully functional, and that it was made in a time before computers.
This big boy is one of 8 remaining from a fleet of 25 that first hit the track during the World War II era. Today, it might as well be carrying a rock band or celebrity, judging by the swarms of fans.
In Laramie, we saw John Wayne come into Laramie on one of these.
Bill Cloyd first saw it as a kid in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yes, bring back memories.
He and his wife moved to Houston about 40 years ago, so they wanted to see it again and reflect on the past journeys.
My dad and my mom always talked about a big boy in a train, and I used to burn coal, and a lot of times they'd go across the prairie, and the coal would catch the prairies on fire.
He says the fascination is simple. People love nostalgia. They love the olden days, and they love trains. And this locomotive, come Monday, will leave this station. Reporting in Houston, Katira Winfrey, KHOU 11 News.
Okay, last night Pat told us he was going to be there. Pat?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Wow.
There were so many people. I mean, I got there at like 11 a.m. and it was like, I mean, literally hundreds of people lined wrapped around the corner to get in.
I bet.
It was moving, but it was packed.
Yeah, what a sight to see.
Amazing to see it up close, and the thing is huge, like hard to comprehend. And the funny thing is, while we were there, an Amtrak train came in, which was like pure chaos.
Sure.
The folks getting out the train are like, "Why? What are all these people doing
here?
here?
Who's
Yeah, exactly.
here?
What's going on?"
Hi,
right
Pat.
now?
No, just kidding.
So it was a cool experience.
Yeah, I'm
The
glad you
name's
got
the
out
best
there.
part.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
the
big
name's
boy.
the best part.
Big boy.
It lives up to its name for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
All right, that's our time for now. But remember, we've got you covered anytime on KHOU.com.
All right, we'll have Len, Mia, and David Paul at 10 o'clock on TV tonight. They will see you then. Bye-bye.